Hello everyone, your friendly neighborhood murder bot here. I just wanted to make a video, hopefully quick, but probably not, about how to get Talespire minis, Heroforge minis into Talespire and looking right. A lot of people have made um, little tutorials and whatnot, but I just wanted to make like a video to show you guys how I do it. Um, First thing I'm gonna say is you're gonna need a couple things. Asset Studio GUI. It's to unpack the asset bundle that exports from Heroforge using the Unity format. You just drag it in, and it gives you a little hierarchy of everything in there. You're gonna need Blender, which I have open, and you're gonna need to make a new Unity project with the 3D pipeline. And make a folder to store everything. So here I made a Talespire minis folder, and then I'm just going to call this minis directory Heroforge test or HF test. And from there, what you want to do is go back into Asset Studio, go to Options, Export Options, make sure TGA is selected as your texture format, because I think default is PNG and it's just a nightmare to work with in Photoshop. We're going to be using Photoshop because I have to show you how to fix the normal map, because as you can see back here, this pink looking normal map, it may work for certain rendering pipelines in Unity, but for the one Talespire uses, these just look atrocious using the standard shader. So I'm going to show you guys how to fix that and make a normal map in Photoshop, and then we're going to take it all into Unity and make an asset bundle using asset bundle browser, and you can just Google the GitHub. I'll show you guys how to install it real quick. So go into Unity, go into Window, Package Manager, hit the plus button, package from Git URL, code, copy to clipboard, paste, add. Please wait, installing Git package, and once that's done, it's going to have everything put in there. Alright, come on, we don't got all day. Alright, so after that's done, you can see in Window now it has Asset Bundle Browser. We're going to be using that later. So back to Asset Studio. Once you've selected TGA as your export type for the textures, you want to go to Export All Assets, navigate to your Unity project folder that you set up, the HF test that I set up, and just select it and export it. This will make it quicker to get everything done. From there, oops, I already did this. Anyways, let's just do that again, delete everything and do it again, just so I don't confuse myself and you guys. Export all assets, select folder. Now it's in there. We got our mesh. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna rename this to the folder directory that we set up in Unity, HF test. That'll just save a lot of trouble. Into Blender, File, Import, OBJ, Heroforge test.obj. Make sure the name matches here. I've already done this a few times. Now that we have it that way, the first thing you will notice is that it's flipped on its face and it's fucking huge. OBJs basically use a generic unit. Basically, it'll tell you its dimensions, but it won't tell you whether it's centimeters or meters. So I'm assuming that they're exporting in the centimeters unit, but Blender uses meters, so that's why it's so big when it comes in. It's flipped on its face because Blender is Z up and then Unity is Y up. So this would be considered the up axis. So what you want to do first is select it, hit R to rotate, X to constrain it along just this X axis, and then you're going to hit -90 on your numpad, and it's going to just flip it upright. Then we want to go into edit mode, and we want to get rid of this base because Heroforge exports with a base, but Talespire makes its own bases, so we want to get rid of this if we want to use Lord Ash's mini plugin. So what we're going to do is select a couple faces here on the top and hit Control L to select linked. As you can see, faces that should be linked together really aren't, because Heroforge thought it would be a good idea to give you a model of a bunch of disjointed triangles. Anyways, I'm going to select a couple here, select here, basically anything you missed, hit Control L again, and just keep going until you get this top part here. Control L. Looks like we got some stragglers here. Got a straggler here. Control L. Once you have a good portion of it, you want to hit X to delete and hit faces. That's going to get rid of a good chunk of everything. Get rid of this straggler here. And then from here, we can just sort of grab front view and just grab our entire girl. So go into wireframe so you can select through everything. Make a select box. Make sure you try to grab her and nothing else. Looks like we got all of her. Now we're going to hit Control I to invert that selection. X, delete faces. Hold Z again, go back to solid rendering. Hit Tab to go back into object mode. Hit 1 on the key on the numpad to go into front view, and we can see that her feet are slightly above the axis. So we're going to hit G to move, Z to constrain along the vertical axis, hold Control, just sort of move her up a little bit so she snaps. That should be good enough. And then we're going to hit Control A, apply all transforms, because we have some disjointed numbers here. Location, rotation have to be zeros at all times, and scale should be 1 at all times, because it'll change how your model looks when you export it from Blender. So we're going to hit Control A, apply all transforms. Now, go back into front view. As of right now, she's enormous. She's probably like 30 meters tall. So what we want to do is we want to hit scale, scale her down quite a lot. She's about 2 meters tall now. I'm assuming she's like a halfling, so she definitely shouldn't be 6 feet. Scale her down a little bit more, and then hit Control A, all transforms again. And now we're all zeroed out, and we're looking good. So from here, we're going to go into the shading tab, because we want to export a MTL with this OBJ, so we got to set up a material for it. So actually, before we do that, let's go back into modeling, object mode, and check her materials. Go to material tab here, default OBJ. We can leave it like that, but I'm just going to rename it to the same thing as the model, just for continuity's sake. Heroforge test. Now jump back into shading. Go back in your textures folder. Alright, so here we are in shading. We have our textures over here. Easiest way to do this is to just drag each one in. Okay, so use is obviously our color one. So we're gonna organize this a little bit here. Just run it into base color. Just order of business, you'll see that it just gives her a little base color. Nice and fresh. The next thing we're gonna do, we are going to this normal map, plug it in. First thing you want to do is set this color space to non-color. Maps and metallic maps, things that are basically information in textures but aren't actually colors that you visibly see on your screen, it should not be in this sRGB color space. So we're going to change the occlusion on color. Emissive. I mean, I don't think this one has an emissive map per se. It looked black to me, but you can leave that because you see emissive color. Our metallic map, also non-color. Let's drag this into metal. See, it's sort of made her parts metal that should be metal. The occlusion used in this blender shader is a way you can sort of multiply it in. Hit Shift A to add, search. Sure where that is. Let's see. I'm just going to use a blend node for now. Shift A. X maybe is what it's called. It's been a while. Let's try that. That here. Here. Plug that in. Choose multiply. That sort of just put her ambient occlusion onto the model. It makes it a little darker in these cavities and whatnot. Got her metal plugged in. Plug in the emissive, but it's not going to really change anything because she doesn't have an emissive map. It's just a black texture. Now for the normal, you're going to hit Shift A to add, search for a normal map mode, or normal map node, sorry. Make sure it's set to tangent space. Plug this in here. Watch when you plug it in here, run it to the normal slot. It's going to give you some weird shading artifacts. Like, that is not normal. The way that looks is not right, and that is because if we double click this and open this in Photoshop, see that it's this pink texture. So this red channel is white color. Alpha has information in it. If you isolate it here, you'll see it's grayscale information. That should be up here in the red channel. For whatever reason, this export preset has taken the red channel and put it into the alpha, which I think Unity does to normal maps anyways. So something into Unity should be using a regular normal map as far as I know. Don't need to do all this channel swapping because it'll do it already by itself. So what you do here, to select the alpha channel, hit Control A. To select all, see it's made a selection around the whole thing. Hit Control C, and you're going to go here, Control Shift V, paste special in place. Now, to take this alpha channel, delete it, to here, channel, alpha, create a black channel, to channel options, selected areas, and it's going to make it white. Isolate that again. You still have that selection. You're going to hit Control C to hit channel, Control-Shift-V to make it white. This isn't perfect solution because it should have proper normal map will have some information in here. This is often a good enough solution. Seeing normal maps. If you, I can make a tutorial using Substance Designer that can fix this perfectly, but this is just something easy that anybody can do with like GIMP or whatever. I don't know the workflow for GIMP or anything, but I know you can do this in there. So you're basically just swapping color channels around. You're gonna make the blue white, and you're gonna make the alpha that was in that had the red information back to red, and you're gonna get this, which is a normal looking normal map. It's gonna do file, save. It's gonna fix it. Just to make sure, open it up again. Double check. Come on. It's fixed. It's out. Back into Blender. Drag this in here. Set this to non-color. Actually updated on its own. See that all went away. Dark shading, and now this looks as this model should look. Have your material set up, this is good enough. Tab to leave edit mode. Turn on this. It's rendering okay. Check your transforms. It's good. To file. Export. OBJ. Selection only. OBJ objects. Material groups. To our folder. Test. Name this the same thing. We've been naming it before. And that's gonna help just make things a lot smoother. So now that that's exported, we will go back into Unity. Right click this folder, click re-import. See our mesh is here. Now, click this, use embedded materials. For some reason it didn't carry it with it. It's odd. But anyways, we're not gonna worry about that. You can get rid of this mesh folder because that was the original one. Rid of the animator folder for now. And let's go into this OBJ here. Got our model. I turn off bake axis conversion because we don't need that because we did that in in Blender. You can leave convert units on. This is the settings that have worked for me, so if anybody knows anything different, then just let me know. But from here, I click create new material, and just gonna call it HF full, because even if we were to use this MTL imported from Blender, it would only connect one texture, which is the base color, and we want to want to use full material with all of our textures in it. So first thing we're going to do is click the override here, hit HF full, and in here we have our slots for our textures. We're going to go into our texture 2D. Sorry. Sorry, texture 2D, and start plugging these in. I believe this is the occlusion. So, it's an occlusion, metallic, up. So now, for all of these, we want to make sure the sRGB is turned off. Everything except color texture. The normal map should be labeled normal map. And this is, I guess, what tells Unity to fix it. You know, basically what Talespire did when they gave you the textures, but do it as you import it into whatever, or build the bundle or whatever it is that they do. But this one still has sRGB turned on. Here, let's drag our girl out here. See that the textures look pretty good. Now she looks a little dark, and that is because in this material, this occlusion map is making her look really dark. Get rid of the normal. She looks like. Drag it in. You can see the difference. So do that one more time. Now you can choose to use occlusion if you want. I guess it does give it a little bit more character, and it will be closer to the way Talespire renders. But anyways, so let's click on this, set it to 0, 0, 0, put her in the center of the world, and back up to our main folder and just drag this prefab in, original prefab, and here pretty much have everything we need to bring it into Talespire. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Window, Asset Bundle Browser, so over a little bit, right click, Add New Bundle, name it HF Test, like the rest. There, you're going to just grab this folder, drop it in. That should auto bring in everything that you need. Here you go to build, build. I'm going to navigate to the folder where it should be building this. So that should be for me. Projects, asset bundles, Windows. When it's done, it should be put here. Now, when you installed Lord Ash's custom mini plugin, it should have created this folder called Talespire Custom Data in your Talespire directory. So click it here. It has a folder called Minis, and here I want to create a new folder which is the same name as your model, and if you followed this to the T, then everything else. Just make it HF test, you've made that, just take the HF test, cut it, copy it to here, and head into R2 modman and Talespire to test it out. Come on. Anyways, I'll probably wind up cutting this out, but just in case, let's complain a little bit more. The heck's taking so long? Thank you. Just fire up a level. Hit play. Now these are an older import version than I did. Using a completely different naming convention, so it's technically a different asset. So let's just open our library and drag another mini out. Let's choose this guy here. Use these because they're always in the way. Control M, transform. Got our girl. She's looking good. Let's test a couple things out to make sure everything's working right. Fly mode will work. It will switch to the Talespire shader, so you'll see her color change a little bit, but everything's working. Fly, height filter should be working. Yep. And hide. That should work too. So that's pretty much it, guys. Hope this helped. Good luck, and I look forward to seeing what you guys do.